Boruto TBV Year 1 has been fully complete, and of course I do want to give my thoughts and opinions about what I seen, liked, and also disliked about the series in a whole. Coming into TBV, I felt that this had the potential to be the best Naruto installment series that we've had thus far, and to be honest, at this particular point, past chapter 13, I still feel that's heavily possible. One of the things that we were kind of looking forward to coming to TBV was the aura of seriousness, just the tone switch from the early parts of Boruto, kind of mimicking what we did see from Naruto Shippuden. And we definitely got that. If you guys do recall, the first scene that we did see from Boruto earlier on back in part 1, we kind of seen that shift towards the end of part 1 where he kind of got a little bit more serious. This right here, what we did end up seeing in TBV, was a completely different Boruto, something that a lot of people did actually want to see. Of course, he reminds us a lot of Sasuke. Kawaki himself even talked about Boruto being an Uchiha adoptee, but it wasn't just the appearance of Boruto, but also the strength of Boruto as well. Boruto is superbly overpowered. Coming into Boruto, I kind of want to see a super strong Boruto. I didn't expect him to be this strong, but to be honest, for the overall storyline, I don't mind it at all. I know there has been a lot of talks about Boruto potentially being a Gary Stu. For one, I don't necessarily see it like that because of course he did get washed in chapter 13, but also I don't even mind if it is like that because it is early on in TBV. The power scale in this particular series is going to rise exponentially. Even if Boruto hypothetically is the strongest character right now, which he's not going to be that throughout the entire series. Another important thing that I want to see in Boruto TBV was them implementing the side characters, and TBV already done a very good job of that. One of the side characters that I thought would be super important coming to TBV was Himawari, and oh my goodness, they've already knocked her character completely outside of the park. Now of course her development came recently, and of course it was a bit controversial because it did include Kurama himself. I personally did believe that right there was a good addition, simply because a lot of people do like the character of Kurama. The only downside that I did actually see was the fact that it would take away some of the emotional aspects of some of the scenes that we do hold at a high regard back in Boruto. And I'm pretty sure you guys all know when Kurama did actually die, that right there was a huge moment for the series of Boruto. And of course, for the people who are kind of spoiled with the idea that, hey, Kurama is not actually fully dead, or technically he was, but Kurama will actually be coming back, I think that right there does take a little bit out of the actual emotionality in the scene. But to be honest, it's still a good scene, and I definitely do like the impact of Kurama being back in the series. Not only that, but also her aiding a character that we all thought should have a very big role in the series, which is Himawari. And we already felt that impact in the last couple of chapters. A big thing, in my personal opinion, with Kurama was going to be the power scaling. Hypothetically, if he did come back, the enemies are going to be significantly stronger than what they were. And similar for Himawari and a lot of the other side characters, logically speaking, they just shouldn't necessarily be able to actually compete with some of the upper echelons. And we're even seeing that right now. When Jiraiya came in, he pretty much washed multiple characters, Code of course, and of course the longer the series goes, the higher the power scaling goes. But in Himawari's case, they did give her a specific little wrinkle when Kurama did actually come back. Specifically, Kurama said that their chakra has a higher affinity than all of her other predecessors. So of course that in itself is going to give Himawari a natural boost. Now how much of a boost it's going to be, I'm just hoping it's enough to actually have her be relevant in this series of TBV. Another female character that I want to see have a bigger impact was Sarada. Now of course I think that Sarada at this particular point, she's been okay, and the reason why I say she's been okay, it hasn't necessarily been a disappointment, but it hasn't necessarily been what I wanted it to be. I wanted Sarada to be extremely strong, and one of the things that I feel like they haven't necessarily taken advantage of as of yet is the Mangekyo Sharingan. Now, in my personal opinion, I have a lot of hope in the Mangekyo Sharingan, so I'm not necessarily gonna go all crazy on the character of Sarada as of yet. But I will have to say, not seeing the Mangekyo Sharingan after a year into TBV is kind of crazy. But I will say, most of the scenes that Sarada was actually in, they've knocked it out of the park. Of course, her dynamic with Hidari, that's something that they had to dive into a little bit earlier. And of course, fighting scenes with Sarada as well, she has been impressive. She dodged one of the Shidoris from Hidari, even though Hidari doesn't really have the Sharingan. Also, she actually hit Hidari with one of the Shidoris herself. So impressive stuff all around from Sarada, but I still do believe she should have had a bigger role, and of course she should be significantly stronger with something like the Mangekyo Sharingan, which the writers just haven't necessarily dived into yet. I do have to give credit where credit is due. They did introduce the Claw Ground, which did actually give Chocho, Shigadai, and the rest of Team 10 a decent fighting scene, but regardless, they aren't necessarily going to be as powerful. Now, I do have to say, it's not necessarily just fighting wise, they are woven into the actual plot. Moegi has become a Shinju, and her target is actually going to be Konohamaru. So that right there, in my personal opinion, is going to be a decent storyline for a lot of the side characters out there. I'm pretty sure Team 10 is going to be heavily involved with that. I just want to see how powerful they are going to actually be. From the Clog Rounds right now, of course, we're not necessarily turning this into like a power scaling video or anything like that. They have been having like varying power levels. It's possible that Moegi could be like one of the weaker Shinju, and because of that would open the door for Konohamaru plus a lot of the other characters to actually get involved. What we're seeing right now, Jura is going to be the strongest. Hidari is actually up there as well, but he doesn't necessarily seem like he's going to be like any match for a Boruto or something like that. But Bug as well, in the early episodes or early chapters, he's shown some stuff when he fought against Boruto as well. To be honest, he probably put up a better fight than Hidari, the Shinju of Sasuke. And me personally, one of the side characters that I want to see a lot came in the character of Kashin Koji. Now, we all know the character of Kashin Koji has been a clone of Jiraiya Sensei. One of the biggest scenes that, of course, a lot of people are anticipating is Kashin Koji actually meeting Naruto. So him being in the series just prolongs the possibility of that actually happening. But regardless, they kind of reimagined the character of Kashin Koji, which is absolutely fire. I mean, this guy gained an entire divine art Shinjutsu. Now, my personal opinion, I think that this right here was definitely a very good addition, simply because it has such a big impact on the actual plot. And again, side characters having meaningful impact on the actual plot, those are things that you just love to see. In my personal opinion, one of the things that's going to actually make or break TVV, it comes down to the villains. Now, currently, I think one of the biggest villains that we could probably think of right now, or one of the best villains I should say that we could probably think of right now, is Kawaki. And to be honest, people don't even fully know if he's actually a villain or not, because he's technically doing a lot of the good things on behalf, or a lot of the bad things, quote unquote, on behalf of Naruto. And that technically is a noble reason, really depending on how you view it. I personally believe that Kawaki has the potential to be one of the best villains in the series of Naruto, like all 4 installments. But getting off of that, Cold has been an absolute dud. Now, to be honest, you could kind of say my guy has been the MVP for the villains so far in TBV, simply because a lot of the Claw Grime, the Shinjus, they themselves did actually come from Code. But let's be honest, the Shinju, they have been absolutely carrying TBV thus far. And fortunately, right after the year kind of finished, we start to get a glimpse of who these villains actually are. Jura himself, in my personal opinion, is an elite villain. I actually do like this villain. For the start, one of the things that I have been thinking about, and shout out my guy Mello, he's been talking about this as well, we kind of want to see villains that have like very good backstory, very good build-ups. Jura isn't necessarily that as of yet, and specifically for a character that we're talking about, a character like Pain, who, if you really think about his ideology, you don't even really know if he's a villain or not. Same thing with Madara, and technically Madara, you pretty much could tell, but there was a lot more depth to them as villains. And of course, the villain that we all kind of love, Itachi. I personally believe that Kawaki is going to be cut from a similar type of cloth as that. But Jura, to actually start off a series like this, I thought it was really good. It's reminiscent to what we did see at the beginning of Naruto Shippuden, when we got to fight against characters like Hidan and Kakuzu, characters who didn't necessarily have the deepest of backstory. One of them just wanted to fight for money. But I personally believe that they just provide that entertainment that a lot of people want to see off of the rip. But one of the reasons why I do like the uniqueness of these villains, they're neither human or Otsutsuki. This is a complete different kind of villain that we've seen before. And of course, qualitatively, that does actually matter. They aren't necessarily trying to look for tailed beasts. Their goals are fundamentally different. And to be honest, with these brand new Shinju, because they aren't regular 10-tails, their goal isn't completely defined yet. We've seen that with Jura when he came to the Hidden Leaf Village. He had the goal of actually finding Naruto, and then while he was in the village, it quickly changed to Himawari. We did find out that it was really the Biju that he was after. But similar to like a character like Hidari, where his goals kind of changed when he did actually find his target, Sarada. He pretty much asked her, what will I gain if I absorb you? I personally believe that Jura has a lot of potential. I think that Hidari, of course, let's be honest, he is Sasuke reincarnated. He has a lot of potential as well. I think Bug has a lot of potential. I won't be surprised if Bug eventually gains a Senringan from Ada, but that's a topic for a different day. Regardless, I think so far the villains have been decent, but I think they're going to be significantly better when we get into the actual teeth of Boruto TVV. And of course, when Kawaki himself potentially destroys the Hidden Leaf Village or something like that, you never know. But overall, I think that TVV so far in the first year, and especially as it recently is picked up, I think it's done a very, very good job. And to be honest, I really can't wait till we get to see the anime. The anime is going to really take this to a completely different level, because TVV so far, it's been aura based. Like, it's been aura based, it's been action based. A lot of things that the anime that we love, pretty much the episode 65s, Momoshiki versus Naruto and Sasuke, the Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen, and of course the aura of the Kawaki backstory stuff. Those are the things that the anime has always like thrived in, and I feel like with TVV, the new designs, potentially even new character voice actors, I feel like it's going to take the anime to a completely different level. And of course the anticipation, it's always going to be there. But let me know what you guys think about year one of TVV thus far. I think it's been fire, man. But let me know what you guys think. It's been your boy Barbie, and we out.
It's a knife.